Hello, everybody, and welcome to DNQ Football. Where today, it's a bit more of a podcasty type episode we're doing today. I know we're wearing these great shirts that we've got, but what we're doing today is a draft pick. Now, this is something that people from the UK aren't going to know too much about, and if you're from kind of America, this is going to be right up your street. Because we don't do this stuff because there's no like franchisey things in football, and we do transfers. But obviously with things like basketball in particular, famously, the kind of draft pick. And what we're doing is we're taking the 12 worst ranked teams in the world. So these are 200 to 212 in the current 211 in the current FIFA Men's World Ranking. So it goes all the way from Aruba to San Marino. And we're picking position by position our kind of dream 11 from this team. Now, we're not just, obviously, as you know, Ryan there in his BVI shirt, he would just say the whole BVI team if he could. We're trying our best to avoid that. So we're going to add different players from different teams. We can't have a player in our team that the other person has in theirs. So that's the added bit of spice. One of us will pick first 6 times, the other will pick first 5 times. And we'll go back and forth and rotate. And that all-important first pick will, of course, be decided by rock, paper, scissors, because it's the only way. It's the only fair way.
100% the only way, my friend. 100%. I'm kind of looking forward to this one, mate. It's a little bit of a different video, isn't it? And I really like that extra bit of spice with the... It's not like we're not going goalkeeper, right back, centre back. We're literally... We're just trying to get our team... We're trying to pick the players that we want first before the other person picks it, and then... whose team would actually beat whose team. Also, it's a cool chance to speak about a load of players that are playing for the 11 worst ranked teams on the planet. So I'm here for it, man. I'm loving it.
Yes, absolutely. So I suppose the only real thing to do, my friend, is just to get straight into it.
Oh, mate, are we doing rock, paper, scissors release? Or are we doing rock, paper, scissors and red?
Release on scissors.
Release on scissors. Okay.
Come on.
Right. Nice.
On D&Q Football, we release on scissors. Okay, we don't do rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You release on scissors because you've got the added spice that you say scissors, but you might pick something else. Are you ready for this? First pick.
What you got?
Rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't work at all. Let's count down from 3. Are you with me?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Rock. How slow are you? You go first. Your reactions, honestly.
Mate, why are you doing it so slow? It's rock, paper, scissors. But you're doing
oh my goodness. When people watch this back, you will have no idea how bad your reactions are. No idea how bad your reactions are. You're
sorry,
going
mate.
2.5 seconds after me.
Oh, anyway, I actually did rock twice then.
I know you did. You can go first.
Cool. All right, thank you, my friend. The first position that I will get locked in is I will go the goalkeeper because I think you've gone for this person as well. Elia Benedettini for San Marino. I knew you would have gone him. 33 caps, 26 years old, plays in Serie C for Cesena. Yes. Concedes plenty, but he plays against Germany, England, all the European teams, as we speak about quite a lot. I've seen more than enough of San Marino and this guy in goal to know how good he is and how many saves that he makes. He is my goalkeeper. Bomb. I've locked it in, and I know that's already probably thrown a spanner in your works because I know you've got a secret weird man crush on him.
Oh, Elia Benedettini is one of my favourite players for Minnow Nations. He would be my pick for San Marino to get on the show if we could. He's arguably got the toughest job in international football, given that he plays for the worst ranked team in the world against the best teams in the world, basically every game. A word on San Marino quickly. This isn't anything to do with my pick, but when I was looking through, you have to appreciate in 2022 they played 2 games against Lithuania, I believe, and then a friendly against Cape Verde.
Doing well.
They lost. I was going to say they lost 2-1 to Lithuania, who were then keeping the ball for the last few minutes, and only 2-0 against Cape Verde. So
2-0. Yeah, I saw that.
Hopefully they're on the way up.
By the way.
Oh yeah.
What a friendly. Yeah, so passionate.
Yeah. However, I did know that if you got the chance to pick keeper, you would of course pick him because he is one of my favourite players in the Minnow Nation section. But I feel like I've prepared for that admirably with my what would be second choice keeper, because you did of course pick my number 1 spot, and that is Ryan Liddy for Anguilla.
Okay.
So I've gone Liddy between the sticks, and it's really tough. It's tough with Anguilla as well because they are, I believe they're 210 right currently, so they are the second lowest ranked.
Yeah,
team
so I don't.
Yeah, I
think so. I think so. I'm not certain.
Right down there, and they're an exciting team to kind of look ahead in the future because they've had lots of friendlies recently where they've been doing pretty well. You know, lots of players. UK-based players that they're kind of blooding through into the first team, so it'll be really interesting to see them at the Nations League. But Liddy, one of the highest capped players all time, and again, these poor keepers, they do have tough jobs in terms of the international football. And Anguilla do often suffer heavy defeats.
Yeah.
But he is nonetheless my pick for goalkeeper.
I think you've recovered that well there. I could see in your eyes how I'd scuppered your plans. So fair play with a late pivot to Liddy. So the next position that I will.
Whoa! Where are you going with this?
Are we what? What?
You think you could just pick all these positions? It's me. It's my turn.
Oh, of course. Yes.
This guy.
Sorry.
And his snail's pace rock, paper, scissors. I thought that this would be a friendly chat about these Minnow players. Turns out it's going to be 25 minutes of him just trying to rattle me. Unbelievable.
Oh, God, sorry, dude. Sorry.
Snail's pace rock, paper, scissors. Then he takes Mancini. And then he thinks that he can lock in my left wing option. And I know that's where he would have gone next. I'm going. We are playing 4-3-3, by the way. You'd have seen that already on the team sheets. But
oh, God.
I am going to pick left wing. And I am going to pick Billy Forbes of the Turks and Caicos Islands. It had to be him. It really did have to be him. Just such a good player. He's played for so many years now in the second division of MLS out in the US for a number of teams. I think, you know, maybe a peak for him would have been at Phoenix Rising, where he played alongside Drogba. The number 7 for club and country. Just so good for the Turks and Caicos Islands when they play World Cup qualifiers. You know, they really struggled in every game, but he was the bright spark when he got hold of the ball. It's difficult for him playing up front in a team that has such little in terms of possession. But of course, you know, his goal contributions in the Nations League in 2019, pivotal to their wins over Saint Martin, and they will no doubt go again. But he had to be in my team, as you know.
Yeah, I know you did. I knew you'd go there.
Forbes shirt. He absolutely has to be one of my favourite players in world football. My left wing choice, Billy Forbes.
Yes, I knew you'd go there. I to be fair, I almost probably wouldn't have snuck in and gone there. Otherwise, you'd have probably just cancelled. You'd have just ended the call. He's probably one of the best players available to pick from these nations, based like from a club level perspective. I was trying to base my picks on, like, I don't know, a mixture of how much they've done for their country and the club level that they play at as well. And I think you'll see that in a few of the picks that I have, maybe a little bit later. The position that I'm going to next lock in is easy, and you probably would have seen this coming. Centre back.
Who's your left winger?
Oh, do I have to then go? Do I have to follow your choice? Is that the way that we're doing it, rather than just?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Oh, yeah, no. Okay, perfect. All right, no, that's absolutely fine. My left winger is. I would have gone Billy Forbes. Easy. Mine is a certain young, very, very skillful Dylan Da Silva. Now, he doesn't have a huge international pedigree, but he's done more than enough in the short amount of time that he's been involved with Sri Lanka to make it into my team. He's on the books at QPR, skillful, dynamic, pacey. He got 4 assists in the first game of the Mahinda Rajapaksa when they came back from 4-0 down against the Maldives to draw 4-4. He would be my pick for the left-hand side.
Yeah. Now you pick your next position.
Perfect. That's okay. Cool. I'm there with it. Sorry, it's taken me 20 minutes to understand the format. I'm so sorry, mate. My pick is centre back. Easy. Yeah, I'm sorry. Centre back. Easy. Jerry Wiltshire. BVI.
Yeah.
He's my favourite Minnow Nation centre back.
Mm-hmm.
Wiki says he's only got 7 caps for the BVI. I know he's got more than that. They've played quite a lot of unofficial games for the BVI actually.
Mm-hmm.
Tall, powerful, decent turn of pace, good on the ball. Played National League in the UK last season. And a key pillar of kind of the BVI trying to get a strong foundation. But the BVI have actually got a very good defensive unit with Wiltshire at the heart of it. Jerry Wiltshire, one of my centre backs. That was always going to be an easy one, mate.
It's a good one. It's a good one as well. Of course, he was written down on mine. No wonder. Being such a talented player. Again, for that Minnow Nation level, I'm actually going to spice things up a little bit.
Okay.
Because my choice for centre back is going to be Christian Francisco Javier, also of the British Virgin Islands.
Okay.
So he played. He plays anywhere for the BVI. He's just a physical. He's just an absolute unit. But based on his World Cup qualifier performances, particularly in the really, really tough. Every game was really, really tough for them, but particularly the first 2. And admittedly, they did lose those games. But I thought he was a really, really good player.
He was actually.
He bleeds green for the BVI, and you know what?
He's one of them. He's one of them, mate. Sorry to interrupt you. I didn't think he was that good until we watched
him. Yeah.
In those games, he's one of them, wasn't he? Yeah, I agree, mate.
Just club football. Primarily just an island-based player out in the Caribbean. But on that international stage, he was really, really impressive. Really impressive. He was playing alongside Jerry Wiltshire at centre back, and they were such a good partnership. And he had Medway the other side of him as well, at right back, and he just fitted in so nicely into that back four. And I was really, really impressed with him. We're talking about one of the lowest ranked nations in world football here, one of the smallest nations. So he is my choice for that same centre back position.
Excellent, mate. And now you take the lead with the next pick.
No, and this is where it gets spicy because I'm not sure what position to pick. But
I'm just jotting my picks down so I can almost scribble them out as I go.
I'm doing the same now. But you know what? I'm going to go right back.
Oh, I think you're going to take mine.
And I am going to pick a certain Abel Okbay of Eritrea. Yeah. And I am basing that off of one goal.
No, I mean, he was good that whole tournament.
He was. It was the CACAFA Cup, I believe in 2019, which is when Eritrea last played competitively. And they reached the final of that tournament, losing to Uganda in the final. But it was the semis, that goal, wasn't it, against Kenya?
Yeah, it was. It was. If anyone's watching this and hasn't seen that, just type into Google Abel Okbay goal. It's about 40 yards out.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's an utterly stunning goal. Just on such a stage, and the celebrations are absolutely fantastic. They're almost as good as the commentary. But he was really, really solid in that tournament. Eritrea, it's a really, really tough situation for them internationally with the players. There's lots of things that are challenging in that country at the moment, which is why they're not participating in World Cup qualifiers, why they didn't participate in AFCON qualifiers recently, and Botswana got through. But they are still in the world rankings. It's a real shame for them because they had a few players, particularly from Scandinavia, that were able to represent Eritrea. I won't name them because they might be in your squad later on, but they were improving. And that 2019 tournament showed that. But unfortunately, issues there have halted that. But Abel Okbay is my pick for right back.
Yes. Then you have thrown me a curveball there because I've now got to pick my right back, haven't I? And you're lucky because I actually had 3-4 names down here. So I had Okbay as number one, and then I also had as a third choice. I had Francisco Javier that you put at centre back. He can play
Yeah,
right back as well, and I had him as a potential right back. So I have two choices, and I went TCA here. And I'm not sure whether to go Wildens Delver for more solidity and technical ability, or Jeff Beljour for just blistering pace. I think I'm going to go Wildens Delver, actually, because he was more steady Eddie. And I actually thought when they lost heavily a little bit in the World Cup qualifiers, he wasn't that bad at all. And I thought he would be. I thought he was a lot better than I thought he'd be. Actually, I'm just going to frame. I'm going to frame it like that. Technically sound, quite pacey, and sort of stuck at his task well. And whenever I've seen him since, I've actually always been like, oh yeah, no, you're actually a very solid right back. So my choice after you've taken Okbay, I'd go Wildens Delver of the Turks and Caicos Islands for my right back role. And do I now get to pick the next? I do, don't I?
You do. He's got the hang of it now.
So I'm going for the CDM role of my three, and I'm now taking an Eritrea that you would have taken, I think. I'm going Robel Tekla-Michael. So another Eritrea pick. You know, you've had one, I'm going to have one. This is, I think slightly different than Okbay, actually. So, it's the same. It's the same but different. So he actually captained Eritrea to that final of the 2019 CACAFA Cup.
Yeah.
Now, after there's an interesting one about Tekla-Michael, actually. Now, after the tournament, some of the players fled. We won't go into that. But Tekla-Michael went back to Eritrea. And after the peace agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia in 2018, he's the second ever pro footballer to sign a contract with a club in Ethiopia. So he plays for Ethiopian Coffee in the Premier League over there. So he is developing into a professional footballer, and it's a shame, as you already said about Eritrea, it's a shame that they don't play any football matches, as it would be great to monitor how he's developing on the international stage, because he is a fantastic player, and he's my CDM role.
I like that. I really, really like that as a choice. I thought, you know, he's another player that I'm really, really glad to hear about that as well. About his Did you
like that little anecdote? It's cool, wasn't it?
Good.
Yeah, it's really interesting, mate. It's really interesting.
No, and it is absolutely brilliant to hear, because it is obviously difficult for them. But like you say, another player that really, really shone in that tournament. And we wish him all the best for the future. And well, my choice is.
Go on, what's he got?
My choice for defensive midfielder is from the US Virgin Islands. And it's 35-year-old Dusty Good.
I knew you were going to say Dusty Good.
Yeah, I was just looking at it.
Legend over there.
Players. Yeah, there's a few players I could have picked from USVI. We're talking about a guy here, as I already said, 35 years of age. Made his international debut in 2011 and played his most recent game in 2021, a 10-year international career. And my favourite thing about that so far is his first result was a 7-0 defeat, and his most recent result was also a 7-0 defeat, which just bookends it quite nicely. Really hope he'll be part of the Nations League squad with USVI in Group A of League C, so they'd get to play 6 games, which would be a huge opportunity for some of their younger players for sure, and it would also just continue his brilliant international career into 2022 and 2023.
Yeah.
So just purely someone who's got that international experience. Dusty Good.
You need someone like that in your 11, mate. You need someone a steady Eddie. I think I've got one that will surprise you a little bit later. That's a little bit more experienced, very gifted technically. A good choice. I didn't think you'd go there actually, but fair play.
Yeah, I have. There is another option that I did pick, who is arguably the best defensive midfielder that either of us could have picked. Neither of us did, but maybe we'll speak about that. Maybe we'll speak about that after. I'm actually going to take the other centre back role now.
Oh, okay. If you pick who I've got, I will be stunned.
Does your player play for Guam?
No, he does not.
Okay, well in that case, although he didn't play in the most recent international fixtures, AJ De La Garza, who plays out in the US in Major League Soccer, has represented Guam on an international level on a number of occasions between 2013 and 2019, and is arguably, again, another one of these random players that finds themselves in the matchday squad of one of these really, really lowly ranked sides. He can play all across defence. He is primarily a right back, but he has played centre back for both club and country. And so AJ De La Garza, who many people might know from FIFA Ultimate Team, because he has actually been on FIFA as I think the only Guam player, is my choice at centre back to play alongside.
Yeah, he'd do a job for you.
Francisco
He'd do a job
Javier.
for you. My centre back pairing, I think, is better than yours here, mate. So I've got Jerry Wiltshire as my first. My second, and I'm going to make a few caveats here. I don't think you'd have heard of this guy. It's an Anguillan. You're wearing the shirt. Brina Paul Tesselaar, right? He only has 2 caps. Hold my hands up. However, I've seen this guy in the flesh. You may have done as well, actually. Your matchday vlog.
I think I did.
So he had like the hair back in the bun, right? So I highlighted him in the matchday vlog that I did when I went and watched Anguilla against the British Virgin Islands, and he was very, very good. Now, I think he's over 30. I think he's 31, 32. Only a couple of caps, but he's new to the international scene. He's really good in the air, solid in the tackle, and he's a solid centre-half, mate. So yeah, Brina Paul Tesselaar for my other centre-back spot.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is got the makings of a good back four there.
Yeah, I've got Delver, who wouldn't be my first choice, and then I've got Wiltshire and Tesselaar. So it's solid. Centre-back pairing, solid.
Your pick, my friend.
Okay. This is
where it gets interesting.
This is getting interesting. I am going to go for a right wing role, and I am just going to. I tell you what, I'm just going to overload. I'm looking here because this is where I've got my list. I'm going to overload my front three. I'm going to go very heavy on. We're allowed. Yeah, we can duplicate. So we can go a couple of players from the same nation, right? We're good for that. As long as I don't overdo it, right?
I was going to say,
yeah, cool. Right, so I am going to have 2 of my attacking 3 from one nation. My right winger is Ahmed Razik of Sri Lanka. 4 goals in that ridiculous 4-4 game, as we know. He had 7 goals in that tournament. He was the top scorer. He's got 9 goals in total for Sri Lanka, and I think it's only about 13 or 14 caps. The impact that he has made sort of to that side in kind of the recent call-ups that he's had has been nothing short of sensational. All the tricks in the book. Direct, pacey winger that will cause you problems. Razik on the right. So yeah, of my front 3, I have De Silva on the left and Razik on the right. So
yeah, absolutely. You've watched the Mahinda Rajapaksa and you want a bit of that action.
Basically, mate, yeah, they combine so well. So that's it. So that's my right winger, Razik from Sri Lanka, who I think from this minnow nation, like I'm looking at this side that I'm creating from the worst 11 nations in the world. I'm rating it, mate. I really am rating it.
I am, because I knew you'd take Benedettini, so I wanted to try my best, as I know you have as well, to avoid doubling and tripling up national teams. That opens the door, as you've taken Wasim Razik from me. That opens the door for me to add in Danilo Rinaldi of San Marino.
Yeah, that's good.
As an attacking player. Now, if you watch San Marino, they don't have a lot of attacking play, ultimately. In fact, there is nobody in their current squad with more than 1 international goal from their most recent games. So that just shows.
Yeah.
So there are more than 1 player with 1 goal. And one of those players is Rinaldi. And yes, he has 42 caps, 1 goal. So that might not be the best for a striker/winger. But I will say, if you actually analyse his game, born in Argentina and plays, in the whatever league in Italy that the San Marino players play in, at club level, he's a good player. He's a good player, and I would be very interested to see him against Minnow Nation defenders. You know, how would someone... We all know how good Razik and Billy Forbes and Dylan De Silva are against weaker defences because we've seen it in action. What we haven't seen is someone with the capabilities of Danilo Rinaldi, a European-based player, going at anyone really apart from an Andorran defence. And as I've said before, I think Andorra are a very, very good team. So he is my pick for right wing, and I think that he is probably one of the more underrated players in the sub-200 club. Yeah,
I'd agree. I think you've pivoted very well there. You clearly had Razik kind of nailed in that role, and I have just taken that from you. And then kind of at the 11th hour, you've had to come up with a substitute choice. So fair play. I've got a worry that I think you're going to do that for a few of mine. So yes, fair play. A good choice actually. Skillful player, mate, and a very, very solid choice. So what have you got then? You've got Billy Forbes on the left and then Rinaldi on the right.
I do.
Are you going to complete that front three for us right now?
I am going to complete that front three. I am. I am going to go for the Dutch colony of Aruba.
Okay.
And I am going to complete that front three with the gorgeously handsome 6'5" Terence Groutusin.
Yes.
Who is, of course, Dutch, but can rightly represent Aruba. Has done on 8 occasions, scoring 2 goals so far. Has played in and around the Dutch leagues his whole career, and ultimately is a pretty good player, a powerful player, big and strong. And although his career, I don't think he's hit his peak yet in terms of goal-scoring form, I do think that across the next few years we will see an improvement in Aruba internationally, as we have with other Dutch sides. I do honestly believe that. We've seen it with Suriname and Curaçao, and I think Aruba are the next on that list to suddenly start stepping up. And I look forward to what they can do in the Nations League, and I'm sure that Terence will be a big part of that, so he completes my attack.
Mate, that attack is the most funky sounding attack I've ever heard. Forbes of the TCA, Groutusin of Aruba, and Rinaldi of San Marino as an attack.
It's good. I think it's good.
That's hilarious, mate. I think you'll like. I think you missed a trick. Wait, not missed a trick. My striker.
You picked another.
I've picked a Sri Lankan. So no. Right. So bear with me here. So my choice for the centre forward in this team is the Gibraltar international, TJ DeBar.
Yep.
Now, bear with me here. So, I think this is quietly a bit of a winner of a shout. 28 caps, just 3 goals. I know, plays for Gibraltar. It's the same sort of San Marino pitch here, isn't it? Plays for Gibraltar in Europe. Tough, 3 goals. Not amazing. But he's 22, mate. He's just 22 and he's got 28 caps. He's currently on loan at Eastleigh in the National League. And he's on loan there from Wycombe, who are League One. And I'm sorry, you do not get a contract at a League One football team, and then play, and then play at National League if you're not a very good player. From what I've seen of him at Eastleigh, he's got a decent turn of pace, and he's super aggressive. And I think I think I've got the guile and the skill of Razik and De Silva on the wings, and then just the bulldog of TJ DeBar through the middle of Gibraltar. So that's my pick for a centre forward, my friend. That's my front three completed.
I like that. I like that a lot as a front three. I'm liking the look of both teams so far. But I think now is where it's going to get a little bit more challenging.
Yeah,
we've got 2 centre mids and a left back.
So I'm looking at this, and so I'm looking at what I've written down and what I've had to change based on what you've said, and I'm looking at duplicates, and I've tried to avoid duplicates. The way that it's going at the moment is I may have 3 positions of where I've got players from the same team here, and I'm just going to roll with that, mate. If you're good, with that. One of my in fact no, that's a lie. 4-4-4, but I can't because I would have to keep this guy in because he's too good. Now, is it my pick now?
It is your pick for the position.
It's my pick. So there's a few nations that I that I didn't touch because I didn't feel like I knew enough about them. I could have chosen Francois Cruz from Aruba, very solid centre back. I didn't. Joshua John as well. There was a few that I didn't involve, and I didn't feel like I knew enough about Guam to pick any of their players either. Delegaza was a good shout. I had him written down. You said him, kind of thing. So, so one of my other, I mentioned the inexperience thing earlier, didn't I? So one of my central midfielders is Liam Walker, also of Gibraltar.
You're going to take mine.
Now, right alongside youthful exuberance of a Tekla Michael, you need experience. Gibraltar international, 59 caps, 33 years old. He's had almost a decade in international football. He's actually got a really, really good football CV, including spells at Portsmouth in 2013 and Notts County. He's played in Spain and even Israel. Really technically gifted and a good addition. I kind of wanted to have picks in there that I didn't think you'd have as well. So good footballing pedigree, and I think kind of fits this challenge quite well. So that's a couple of Gibraltars in there for me, and that's Liam Walker as one of my central midfielders.
I like that. I like that as a pick. I am going to pick a different 33-year-old
okay.
from a different nation. And he's an attacking midfielder / forward, but he will be playing in one of the attacking midfielder roles for me. And that is Cameron Heppel of the Bahamas.
Bahamas, very nice.
Now, we're talking about a guy here, versatility, can play all across the attack, 33 years of age, so a lot of experience. He was 15 when he made his debut for the Bahamas. In 2004, he has played 19 times internationally, scoring twice in that time. Again, he plays for Bahamas, but he was a key part of a very, very good CONCACAF Nations League C, in which they played 4, won 3, drew 1.
Yeah,
and of course got promoted to Nations League B, where they will now compete. He will no doubt be a key part of that. And again, it's just another player, very experienced. An international career of this guy that spanned from 2004 to 2021, 17 years of international football. He will probably be involved in the Nations League in June as well. And I just think, again, similar to what you were saying with that football CV for Walker, maybe not quite the same with Heppel at club level, but international experience is there. So he is my pick for one of the central midfield roles.
And you now get to pick the
final.
Oh, well, there's two positions actually. I almost jumped the gun. Yeah.
So am I going to pick the final defender at left back, or am I going to pick the final central midfielder? Now, I haven't doubled up yet on internationals.
And fair play, when I was doing it, and as we've gone through it, I found it very hard not to. And as I said, I'm going to end up with 4 where I've got 2 players from the same nation. What are you going for?
I am going to double up.
Okay.
Once, on one occasion, maybe twice.
Fair play.
Maybe twice, we'll see. But there is no way that we can do a Dream Minnow Nation 11 that doesn't include Mackinson Cadet.
I knew you were going to say that. I now have to scribble out a third centre mid now. Or a third choice. He's very good. Very good.
He is such a young talent for the Turks and Caicos Islands. He plays every position that they need him to play. He's played attacking midfield, defensive midfield. In World Cup qualifiers, due to injuries and players not being able to travel, he played centre-back as part of a 4, as part of a 5. He is brilliant. He scored a ridiculously good bicycle kick for Hardin-Simmons University out in America. Not currently sure on what kind of club football is going to come his way across the next few years. But I think if he has a good Nations League in Nations League C, a group that I believe that the Turks and Caicos Islands can potentially even win, certainly compete. They've got 6 games to do so. I think he should be back in central midfield where he was absolutely pivotal, and it's a brilliant goal that Billy Forbes scores in the win over Saint Martin, that Mackinson Cadet creates himself, picking up the ball just inside his own half, beating 2 or 3 players and playing it through. He's just, you have to watch this guy play to just really appreciate that technical ability that he has, and I really do hope that he shines at the Nations League, because that could be a kickstart for his club career as well. So he is doubling up my Turks and Caicos Islands representatives. Joining Billy Forbes is Mackinson Cadet.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said there, mate. Sum that up very, very well. Again, I'd put him in the category of a player that I didn't realise how good he was until we watched him, actually.
Yeah.
So and this is another dupe. I've had to change things around. My central midfielder to make my that kind of central 3 is Jamie Wilson for the BVI. Again, seen this guy in that friendly against Anguilla, and whilst the Anguillans did win that game, the BVI controlled possession, and the vast majority of that came through Wilson. Really technically gifted, good on the ball, scored a penalty actually in that game. And I think just a very solid addition to this team. So then it's down to me to pick the final role.
You get first
now,
choice.
I get first choice on the left back spot. Now, there are people that I would want in this, and I'm thinking of who I've put where and duplicates, etc. So I don't want to go over 2 players per nation. So I am gonna think on the spot. But the left back that I'm going to put in is another Anguillan. So I've got 2 Anguillans in my back 4 actually, and it's a guy called Capil Battis. Now this is the left back that I watched for Anguilla during the game, and again I pointed him out, and he was probably one of the best players on the pitch. Really solid. He's had 18 caps in his international career so far, and pacey, really good left foot. Can get forward because he's got the engine to do so, and was very solid defensively as well. Wasn't beaten, and coped with a lot down the right hand side, or BVI's right hand side in the game. And I almost think it's very different. You can look at things and watch YouTube videos, but I actually watched this guy play, and he was impressive as well. So that whole side of my defence with Brina, Paul Teslar, and then Battis with a little bit of an Anguilla duo is quite nice. So that's my left back spot, mate.
And I knew, therefore, that I would double up at left back, but I knew that you wouldn't triple up at left back. So as soon as you said Wilson, that paved the way for a player. Again, I've got versatility on tap in my team, because my choice at left back is, of course, DNQ legend Josh Bertie.
Do you ever introduce Josh Bertie without calling him a DNQ legend?
No, he absolutely deserves it. Josh, if you watch this, hero. DNQ legend. Josh Bertie. Now, plays up front at club level. He can play on the wing. He defines himself, I think, as a forward. But for internationals, they chuck him primarily in at left back or left wing back, depending on the system that they're playing. We're talking about a player here who's just a good player. I don't want to sort of labour the point too much. He's played up front for Andover Town and banged 30 goals before Christmas, I think it was.
He's playing at a move to Dorchester.
Yeah, moved to Dorchester, and unfortunately he's picked up an injury, so I think he'll miss the rest of the club season. But hopefully we'll be back in time for the Nations League in a couple of months. I hope so. Needs to start scoring those international goals. I think that would be good to see. But just a very technically gifted player, a versatile player, clearly someone that can play up front or left back, understands the game well. And I really struggled actually looking at these teams to find many people I would rather have at left back. Honestly, so when you picked Wilson, which I think is a good choice by the way, I really like him as a player. I knew that I would be able to double up with Josh Bertie. There are, of course, good players that we haven't picked. You've got Brian Berg, Joshua John. You've got Saeed Haji for Somalia. There are good players. There are very good players for all of these teams. But These are our personal draft picks. You can't really call them favourites because it was getting a little bit competitive at times with who we'd have in certain positions. But these are our personal choices. And Ryan, I'm going to get you to run through your 11 for me, please.
Yes, absolutely, mate. So if I run through it, I've got Benedettini of San Marino in goal, Wildens Delver of TCA at right back, Jerry Wiltshire of the BVI at centre back, with Brina Paul Tesla of Anguilla as the other centre back, Battis of Anguilla left back. My CDM is Robel Tekle-Michael of Eritrea. My central midfielders are Jamie Wilson and Liam Walker of Gibraltar. And my front three, I've got a Sri Lanka duo on the wings of Dylan De Silva and Wasim Ahmed Razik. And my centre forward, the Gibraltar international TJ DeBar, my friend. That's my 11.
I like it. And to run through mine, between the sticks, Ryan Liddy of Anguilla. My back four, Abel Okbe of Eritrea, AJ De La Garza of Guam, Christian Francisco Javier of the British Virgin Islands, and Josh Bertie of the British Virgin Islands. My midfield trio, in defensive midfield, USVI veteran Dusty Good, midfield duo Bahamas Cameron Heppel, and tying things between attack and defence is Turks and Caicos Islands Mackinson Cadet. And the most random front three in the world of international football, Danilo Rinaldi on the right of San Marino, Billy Forbes on the left for the Turks and Caicos Islands, and up front, big Terence Groutusin of Aruba. If those two sides were to play, who do you think edges it?
I think my team, I've just read that, my team's got to edge that, mate. My team has got to edge that. I've hammered you with my centre-back choices, I think. Don't get me wrong, Francisco Javier and De La Garza, I'm sure, are solid. But yours just has an unevenness to the back four. And I think maybe your midfield has a little bit better balance than mine. But I think my back four unit and then the front three, my front three, I feel, makes more sense than yours as well. Yours feels like, where's the cohesion?
I think yours may edge it, but I disagree completely on a few things.
Okay.
I would argue that my defence is as solid as yours. I think that you have potentially some stronger players, but I think with Abel, I think Abel Okbe is probably more solid than Delver.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I think that. I think it's probably closer than you think in the centre-back positions. And I would say that I totally get what you're saying about that front three, and I do think that it would be close. I think it all comes down to style of play, and ultimately we both know I'd be the better manager, so I think that's what ties it together. And one thing that we both, it's difficult with these minnow nations to get much European flair in there, or European solidity in there, because it's San Marino and Gibraltar. But we both picked forwards from the European nations, which is interesting, considering that they don't score much. You picked TJ DeBar and I picked Rinaldi. It's an interesting one, actually.
I think with that, I think from my standpoint, I know a lot more about DeBar than the Gibraltar defenders. And I have to say, just because of his involvement with Wickham, he hasn't played very much, to be fair, and then his loan move to Eastleigh. But it's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, the thing is, with stuff like this, it's cool, and I'm sure it'd be really, really great for anyone that's watching this that gets to this point to comment players that we might have missed or players that they put in their team, because that's what this channel's about. It's about kind of learning. Yeah. You know, as well as enjoying everything around Minnow Nations, it's about learning about new players and the developments of these teams and kind of who's becoming a big player for which nation, etc. So, yeah, if there's anyone that was, you know, from teams 200 to 211 that, you know, that's a massive own goal that we've missed, throw it down in the comments. Absolutely. Because we're keen. We love that kind of chat, don't we? We do, and ultimately it's just one of those things. It's like we do DNQ to talk about our passion, right, in these teams. But this isn't Sky Sports News. We've said many times, like, that there are things we're going to not 100% get right, even if that's team sheets for nations that
haven't played in 5 years, things like that. We're not always going to get it 100% right, but the whole point is we're here talking about it. And if you disagree and you put a comment in, that's great. That doesn't offend us at all. We love to hear it. With my OFC team for the tournament thing, people have come back with their suggestions. I love to see that. I love to understand why people have picked different players. It's awesome. And like you say, this video is going to rack up being close to 45 minutes. So if anyone's got to this point and has watched the whole video, we absolutely love the support. So thank you so much. I think one final point from me, which I maybe missed, is I do think a huge factor of yours is Benedettini between the sticks. I do think that would make a huge difference in this kind of game, to be honest. But nonetheless, we have picked our 11s from 200 to 211 in the current FIFA World Rankings. Poor old San Marino, because Cook Islands have come in, they've gone down a place, despite the fact they've had 2 pretty good results. Nonetheless, as Ryan has already alluded to, drop a comment on this video. Who have we missed? Who's a huge own goal that we've missed that you would definitely have in your team? First name on the team sheet. Which team do you think would win? Of course, if you're 45 minutes in, you haven't liked this video already, you've got to question that at this point, to be honest. And ultimately, because there's no international football, there's a high chance if you got to this point, you already subscribed, which is great. If you don't, why not? Hit that subscribe button. But to everyone in the D&Q community, thanks as ever for supporting us. We absolutely love bringing you this kind of content. And as ever, we will see you next time.